What is up, folks? Welcome back to Ever So Slight. Jorge and Ito here. Thanks for stopping by, and again, welcome back. I just want to thank everybody who submitted questions there in the last AMA announcement video. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get on into it right now. The answer.
You ain't got the answers, man. You ain't got the answers.
And to thank for all this, we have a comment by Johnny the Flintstone Chewable Popper. And he simply asked if I can go over my magic book collection. Yes, Johnny, I can. I'll have to let you and everybody know right off that my magic book collection is very limited. Like, it's pretty small in comparison to a lot of people out there. And I think the reason for that is very early on, I decided where the bulk of my budget would go toward in this hobby. That is to say, I learned very early on that playing cards was what brought me the most joy and happiness. Obviously, I do have books, I have resources, I'm really proud of my download library on Vanishing Ink. So yeah, as far as magic books, I just don't have a lot of, but the ones that I do have, we'll just say that I have a very specially curated collection, small as it is, and I'm proud of everything I do have. So yeah, we'll just a few DVDs and stuff. We have obviously By Forces Unseen, which I knew that was going to happen. So yeah, By Forces Unseen, Ed Marlowe's Revolutionary Card Technique. We have Tom Guinan's Avant Cards, If an Octopus Could Palm, Hairpin Ong Principia, of course, Royal Road to Card Magic. And we have Art Buckley's Card Control, Expert Card Technique. And yeah, that's basically it. And, you know, like I said, these books are very special to me. I did a lot of research and a lot of thought went into each and every purchase. So the most prized book, I would have to say, would be By Forces Unseen. I've learned a lot from that book.
I'm asking you ain't been doing the education. Bro, you ain't been doing the education.
So I think I'm going to use my kid's tablet and just really go through, you know, some of these questions. We'll just start at the top. And Sean Devine, he asked this. He says, what is one thing in card magic you've always wanted to learn but never got around to? Also, congrats on hitting 1K. It's going to happen before you know it. Thank you, Sean. You seriously are one of my favorite magic channels. You just got the it factor. Love you, Jorge. Well, thank you, Sean, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for the kind words. The one thing that I've always wanted to learn in card magic and never got around to it, or maybe I just had such an issue with it that I kind of laid it down and I would revisit it and just quit and bottom dealing, right? You know, and I'm talking about the Spock way of doing the bottom deal. I could never do that, and I just, you know, kryptonite for me. Next up, we got Card Mat Tutorials. He says, great Angle Z idea. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate that. He says, looking forward to you hitting 1K. Amazed you haven't already. If you were stuck on a desert island and could only take one magic book, By Forces Unseen, one deck, it's a tough one. Probably, maybe Arcos or a Madison deck, or Black Roses. If you could take one magician with you, I thought about this, and I think Tony Chang, he's just a lot of fun. One song, man, how about Nirvana's rendition of Seasons in the Sun? I think that'd be okay. And if you could take one game with you, what would they be? So I named all those. One game, you know, it would have to be either an 8-bit Nintendo game or maybe Super Nintendo game, preferably a long one if I'm going to be stuck on an island. Let's go with Final Fantasy II. Going right down the list, we got Capel. He says, have you ever thought about creating a deck, and if so, what would you name it? And what would you base it on? As in Madison's decks, based on Charlie. You know, I don't know. I've thought about it before, but to be honest, I really don't know. I don't see it anytime soon. So, yeah, sorry. Next question he asked, it would be great if you could tell us how you balance your work life, family life, and card magic. It's not easy. You know, for me, I just prioritize, you know, working a second shift job is difficult and challenging. So once everything's taken care of as far as, the work, stuff I have to do, with Addie involving, helping her out, basically cards come last. Kind of the bottom of the barrel, you might say. But once everything is handled and taken care of, then I'm able to sit down and practice cards. But yeah, it's not easy, and I think it's tailored. It's relative to your situation. Cap will also ask, I would love to see you talk about affordable decks. Well, I have a lot of playing cards. I've bought so many over the years, and one thing that I like to do is utilize discount codes, like Black Friday sales are going on right now. So I picked up some decks and saved some money just off of the Black Friday discount. So definitely utilize all those discounts anytime they're running sales. You could always put money aside to buy whatever deck. But affordable decks, obviously anything USPCC is going to be great. And we're going to go on to Magic. He says, love the effect, referring to the Angle Zero effect. Thank you. What are the best books for the money, in your opinion? And he has some other questions. Price point books, for me, two of the best for the price would be Expert Card Technique and Card Control by Art Buckley. Not so much beginner level books, but intermediate. They're relatively cheap, under $10 or right around that area, and you learn some great stuff. My favorite of the two would be Expert Card Technique. So there's that. Moving on to the second part of his question, he says, how much practice do you put in a week? And how often do you perform for people? Well, I practice every day. So it's usually maybe a little bit before work and a little after work. So at least probably 2 hours a day. And on the weekend, when I have some extra time, it'll be more than that. I don't perform for people very much at all, sadly. Pre-COVID, I did. I was out there doing some street stuff. I would go into convenience stores and I would show people. I did a lot of invisible deck stuff, a lot of Angle Z stuff. Had so much fun, and just that 2020 just put a damper on things. And we got Fading Ace here, longtime subscriber. He says, hey Jorge, I know you're going to hit 1K soon. It has been long overdue, but it will be an amazing day when you officially hit the number. Thank you. It will be amazing. I appreciate the support. The continued support, Fading Ace. You're such a great guy. Happy to have you over here. The Angle Z performance was wonderful as always. Here are my questions. Does Addie like Magic? For those who don't know, Addie is my daughter, 7 years old, and she does like Magic. Second question, does she ever perform Magic? No, she does not. Has Addie ever performed Magic to you and the family? No, not really. I've shown her a few things. She did do Kaylin Morelli's Quantum Effect. I showed her how to do that, so she had some fun with that. That's where you stick a Sharpie down through the card and kind of move it around. What first got you into Magic? Well, I got into Magic at a very early age, and a lot of mentalism. So I used to do a lot of mentalism type stuff as a kid, which is weird because I would move into card magic and sleight of hand in particular. It's usually the other way around. People will advance on to mentalism from card magic. For me, it was reversed. So I did a lot of prediction stuff. My early influences were watching Penn and Teller on TV, David Copperfield. And then when I was a teenager, you would see Blaine doing his street stuff. But yeah, I just into Magic from a very, very early age. Elementary school, the earliest memory I have is in 4th grade, maybe 5th grade. My good buddy Sheldon showed me a card control. So you would just have the spectator call out stop as you drag your fingers along the cards. Let's say they say stop right around here. And you just say, just point to any one of those 3 cards. Let's say they choose the one in the middle. I want them to actually see that I'm grabbing that one that they said. And I think this might be Mark from over at Card Mat's favorite card, the Queen of Spades. Yep, just happened to be that. So that was the first card sleight I ever learned. Next question is from Trinity. Trinity says, Jorge, my friend, love the intro. You're so cool and precise with a deck of cards. First of all, thank you. You always have, Trinity always has the kindest of words to say. Thank you, Darren. I appreciate that, really. He says, I'm guessing your job may be a hands-on, artistic type of job. Well, kind of, I guess. It's definitely hands-on. I work for a local cooperage, making white oak barrels for the purpose of, people who make whiskey. Like, we sell to Jack Daniels and Jim Beam and stuff like that. We just make the barrels. I'm one of 6 barrel builders. They call them barrel raisers. These guys, we actually build the barrel from the ground up. What other interests and hobbies do you have? Well, I like yo-yoing. I also like retro gaming, 8-bit Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Master System. Trinity says, America is one of my favorite holiday destinations. What's yours? Well, I've never been to another country. I've traveled, around the States, but I would like to go to the UK sometime. Now, I'm not just saying that because Trinity, he's from the UK, but really, I think that's a great country. A lot of history, obviously, great culture. Would love to visit the UK sometime. He says, please tell us a bit about your neighborhood. It's a small Ohio town, southern Ohio town, kind of rural country town. I was born and raised actually just outside of the city limits, kind of out in the country. I would later go on to move away to the greater Columbus area, which is a bigger city. Eventually, I would come back to my hometown, which is where I am today, within the city limits. So just a small town. Everybody knows everybody. It's a really friendly atmosphere. Really am. He says United States Playing Card Company is about 125 miles from where I am. Do they still make cards there? And have you ever been there? They don't make cards there at the Cincinnati plant anymore. They moved to Kentucky, sadly, and they're under contractual obligation not to use that old equipment. That's why we can't get cards like they used to be, But they're still really good with the Kentucky plant getting cards out. I never have visited the plant though. I would like to have. Would have been really cool. Where was you born and grew up? I think we went over that. Until next time, my friend, keep up the good work. Channel is awesome. Thank you again, Trinity. Appreciate it. Okay, so we got one from Robert Shaw IV that says, he asked, how many years of practice does it take to be as skillful as you are now? That's very kind of you, Robert, and I surely do not see myself as very skillful. I mean, I've been playing with cards a very long time. And I see some of these guys and gals on Instagram and stuff, and they put me to shame, right? I just want to, it makes you almost want to put the cards down and just move on to something else. But I don't let it discourage me. I just carry on. I try to do what I do. At the end of the day, I love it because it's just a passionate hobby of mine. Moving on to 7th Shelf, he says, I love this channel. You're so undersubbed. Thank you for that. You deserve much more than 1,000, but let's hope you hit that hurdle soon. What cards do you use to practice your moves, and where do you source them? Excellent question. I use all sorts of cards, but the top 3 types that are my go-to would be, why is this camera so low? Would be the Black Roses, Madison cards, and Blue Seal playing cards. And also places that, are reasonable, affordable. I'll name a few right now. If you're in the States, 52 cards, great place to source all kinds of awesome decks. Black Market Decks is a Dan and Dave affiliate site. They sell a lot of stuff on there too. It can be kind of pricey, so you got to be careful. Art of Play, BAM, playing cards. It's a great place that I've been utilizing here recently. If you're abroad, across the way, paperdex.com, great place. Awesome cards on there. The Card Inn, it's also a great one as well. Thank you for that question. Strong. Favorite strong impromptu trick, which can be performed on the go. Tutorial, maybe? So, yeah, I tried to think and meditate on this for, a little over a week now, and just educate myself, about what is a strong trick impromptu that I actually do. And I'll tell you one that I've used in the past. It's impromptu, it's a packet trick, which I don't do a lot of packet stuff, but Wave from Max Maven, that has been very strong. I've had such awesome reactions from that. Jack Synapsis is one that if you take the time to learn it. All right, we have Jay Waters here. Boy, here's a good one. He's putting it to me with this one. He says, what is your prized possession as far as Magic and cards is concerned? Is it a deck, particular trick, or gaff? By the way, the Flourish shirt is fire. He's referring to the Madison Flourish shirt. Thank you for that. Hope to get those cards in our hands soon. You know what? My prized possession, I thought about this too. Everything I have, I treasure. From each individual book to the cards and whatnot. I almost wanted to say the trilogy, right? And then some by Dan and Dave Buck. I've had 2 copies over the years. The first copy I just destroyed. It was so scratched up, I had to invest in another trilogy. Even the Flourishes disc, the cardistry disc, was so scratched up. I don't even do cardistry, but even that disc was inoperable. So anyway, man, that's a prized possession. But the one thing that I prize the most would probably be my Madison collection. And that goes from everything from just all the cards that I've bought to all the signed ones that he sent me, all the little fun memorabilia and oddities that he sent. Maybe I'll do a video sometime where I just cover my Madison collection. But yeah, that's probably my most prized. What, boo-boo? This is Boo Boo. He is the most vocal of the cats, and he's wanting some attention, doesn't he? So yeah, there you have it, my Madison collection. So next question, Robert Ball Magician, longtime subscriber. Nice video, Jorge. My question is, first of all, thank you for that, Robert. I do appreciate that. He says, my question to you is, how often do you practice? Almost 2 hours a day, every day, on the weekends, even more, only after higher priorities get taken care of also. But he says, is there anyone in particular that you try to inspire to? Now here is something that's interesting, because a lot of people think that, obviously I'm a fan of Madison, right? And so, but it's not that I'm trying to inspire to Madison or some of these other guys. The thing with Madison is he has great card magic. It's undeniable, but that's not so much what I'm drawn to about him. It's not so much his card work and handling, though he is great. And if he watches this, I hope you're not taking offense to this. What I love the most about Madison is his overall disposition in life, just his outlook, his creative force, such a unique individual. He's someone that I can believe in and stand behind. Longtime subscriber Adarsh Ist asked this: what is your favorite YouTube channel to watch, and what got you started into sleight of hand? We did answer the second part of that question, but my favorite YouTube channels unrelated to magic would be Jim Can't Swim, Matt Orchard. These are like channels that cover interrogation footage and true crime content. So we got a couple questions from Memories. He says, can you rank your top 5 playing cards? Yeah. Let's see. The old school Madison playing cards, Black Roses. The new school Madison playing cards involving Taiwan and Cardamundi. Blue Seals and more Blue Seals. So there you go with that. He says also, who's your favorite magician, dead or alive, besides Daniel Madison, he says. Well, Leonard Green, Tony Chang, Ray Cosby, Ernest Eric, Ed Marlowe. Wow, these are guys that I really, really look up to. I love their work. He also has a joke. He said, what is red and goes up and down? A tomato in an elevator. Capel asks another question. He says, how do you practice effects? Well, usually in one of 3 positions. 2 positions are seated, one of them much lower to the ground. Actually, just me sat at a lazy boy with a huge coffee table in front of me. It is very kind of a lower type positioning. The second one would be at my desk in here, which is much, much higher, right? And last but certainly not least would be from a stood position. So yeah, standing, because you know you get tired of sitting down a lot. And all this is just a simple laptop desk that I bought from Amazon. It has wheels on it, right? Has a little adjustable thing for the height. And yeah, you could just adjust this to the perfect size. You could just stand, watch TV, and just handle cards. And this is the second one that I've had over the years. The first one I broke, so I had to buy a new one. I wanted one obviously big enough and sturdy enough to hold my jumbo card or hardback mat. And yeah, this just absolutely works perfect. Something else to consider is mirrors. I have a 3-way mirror that I use all the time. Capel also asked, why did you change the name of your channel? Well, this is something that I've been wanting to do for a very long time, and I just never got around to it, mainly because I didn't have, in my mind, a proper name for the channel. So I eventually landed on Ever So Slight, because I think that it fits, you know. I felt the channel needed a proper name, and that's really all there is to that. And last question from David Super Sleuth Murphy, great friend, longtime subscriber. Your favorite go-to trick? Probably Jack Synapsis. As of late, it's just been a lot of fun doing that. Favorite sleight? I would say the Louise Control, but I gotta go with the Classic Pass. It's just my absolute favorite. What got you into magic? We did discuss that. I think you are inspired by Daniel Madison. That's just a hunch. Well, who else living inspires your works? Bizal Christian, a.k.a. Biz, Johann Fonten. Oh, wow. Leonard Green. Daniel Snyder. He does a lot of good stuff with cards as well. Dan and Dave Buck. These are guys that are just, you know, have been monumental in my my card work. How about not living? Ed Marlowe, Ernest Eric. What's the most difficult sleight you could do? I thought about this, and I gotta go with the Matwitch. It's a color change I came up with last year around Christmas time. It involves a Classic Pass, but it's so difficult and challenging, but man, when you can hit it, it's just so fulfilling and satisfying. But man, the brutality of just the difficulty, it's rough, you know. But thankfully, I could do it probably 8 out of 10 times. So, okay, it says, what do you think an underrated sleight is that people just don't use a lot of? I gotta go with Pop Shove It, right? Which I would later go on to find out is actually an Erdnase move, right? It's from the expert in the card table, but I never see anybody doing anything with this sleight, so I've taken it upon myself to explore it and see what it has to offer, trying to milk it for what it's worth. And so we came up with the Anaheim color change, Pop and Sandwich, Pop Shove It, obviously Drop Kick. There's all sorts of things that you could do with this. I only ever see people use it as a part of like a production when they're producing like a pair for the a sandwich routine. So yeah, there you go. Underused slight. Pop shove it. Who is Jorge the Man, the Magician? First and foremost, I'm a man of faith, a man of God, been a Christian for a very long time. It's number one priority in my life. Then obviously family, Addie, and then cards comes last. A passionate last, I should say. If you could have a lifetime supply of one deck, what would it be? Anything Ohio made, anything Blue Seal. It doesn't matter if it's Riderback bikes or Tally-Ho fan backs or Arcos or Aladdins. Just literally any deck that's made by that old Cincinnati factory. Favorite TV show? Don't watch a lot of TV. I really don't. I have internet TV, so I would watch a lot of YouTube Premium as well as HBO Max. Maybe some Netflix, Amazon Prime, things like that. Favorite movie? This is a very hard one. I like all the old 80s movies, like Back to the Futures, Teen Wolf, Indiana Jones, Dances with Wolves. Some of the newer stuff I like: Hereditary, Midsummer, Killing of a Sacred Deer. All three of those movies are made by A24. Great studio, great studio. Tarantino movie that I like the most is probably Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I really enjoy that. Best comfort food? Pizza, without a question, or without a doubt. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? I guess as much as he wants. And he asks, how are you? I'm doing fine. Thank you so much, David Murphy, for those questions. And let me just say, once again, thank you to everybody who offered up a question or two. I truly appreciate that. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully it'll give you a little bit of insight into who I am as a person. I appreciate you stopping by. Happy Thanksgiving, by the way. Hope you have some good turkey today and some yams and fellowship with family and friends. Jorge Anito here signing off. Be blessed.